At this point, it's important to talk about the different types of messages that can be sent on the network. Now, this is ubiquitous to layer 2 or layer 3, but in either case, we have the definition of a unicast, a broadcast, and a multicast. The idea of a unicast is we're sending a message from one machine and it's destined for another machine. So we may have multiple machines in the network, but this is a message directly from one machine to another machine. A broadcast message is a message that's being sent out and intended for all machines on this network to receive this particular message. Now, a multicast, unlike a broadcast, is a message that's being sent out, but its intended recipient is a group, not all of the devices, but a subgroup of the devices on the network. Now, if you were to take a look and break out the actual MAC address that we're going to use at layer 2, we'll see that, again, it's a 48-bit or 6-byte address. The first 2 bits have significance, being that they identify whether this is a broadcast or unicast message. Now, if it's unicast, unicast bit would be set if it's unicast or multicast. The broadcast bit is set only if it's a one-to-all type message. The next bit is whether it's locally administered or globally unique. Globally unique would mean that it shouldn't be replicated through the entire world, although if that did happen, it wouldn't necessarily create a problem unless those devices were just so happen to be on the exact same local area network, meaning they weren't segmented by a router. All right, so those 2 bits have significance. Now, the next 22 bits are assigned to an organization. Now, the acronym here is an OUI, or Organizational Unique Identifier. The IEEE committee assigns a company a Organizational Unique Identifier so that that company can produce Ethernet-type products. In particular, Cisco's OUI is 00000C, which is a very low number and coincidentally gives them some power over certain things when the lowest MAC address wins, which we might see in the next section. The next 24 bits is vendor assigned specific for the network interface card. There's actually another bit, and I didn't put it in here because it's kind of over the top for this particular course, but you know me, I tend to go way above and beyond things. So in those 24 bits, the very first bit is a all vendor broadcast address. So if you want to send a message out to all Cisco boxes, you could set that first bit of the vendor assigned portion to 1, and it could send a message to all Cisco speaking boxes that are on the network, for instance. So that's there. I didn't break it out in this chart here, but it's probably not something you're going to be asked, but it's there. It's part of the design of the MAC address. So those remaining 23 bits are assigned by the vendor and usually assigned like a serial number. So as a vendor produces a product, the very first thing rolling off the manufacturing assembly line would be, 0000001, and then increases, and again, it's a hexadecimal number as we look at it, broken all the way out. So the example here, we got 48 bits would break out to, 0F, 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 0F. Other examples of this would be if you had all Fs, that would be a layer 2 broadcast. So the F, okay, should be enough. That breaks out to a broadcast. All messages, all devices on the local area network should open that up and figure out what it is. Typical layer 2 broadcast would be an ARP message where I'm trying to resolve an IP address to a MAC address. I don't know what the destination MAC address is, but I know what the destination IP address is. So I broadcast at layer 2 to try and find out what the layer 2 address is so I can create the layer 2 frame. Another example of this at layer 2 would be a unicast. Now, IP has a specifically assigned organizational unique identifier if you send out an IP multicast address. Now, the OUI, if you will, for a IP multicast is 01005 echo, and then the vendor assigned portion actually maps to the layer 3 multicast address. So, for instance, if you had a multicast address in IP of 224.0.0.1, which is a all multicast speaking device multicast address, the corresponding MAC address would just so happen to be 01005 echo 00001 would be the MAC address for that particular multicast.